review sheet. So this was section 8, punctuation and capitalization. So for our first section, we were asked to write whether each sentence is declarative, imperative, exclamatory, or interrogative. Jack L. So for number 1, can I borrow your book on insects? That's interrogative because a question is being asked. Remember, interrogative sentences always end with a question mark, so that is a hint. The second one says, that water slide was so steep and fast. Notice it ends with an exclamation point, so it is exclamatory. Now, number 3 and number 4 you may have gotten switched around. I want you to remember, an imperative sentence is like a command. It's like something your parents might tell you to do. So number 3, please turn in your tests now. That's a command. Even though they're saying please, it's a respectful command, but you're being told to do something. You're being commanded to do something, so it's imperative. Whereas declarative is just like making a statement, like, I'm going to the pool after school. You're just declaring something. Yes, Jack L.
Punctuation can kind of give you a little hint because if it's just a period, they don't want anything to say. It's just like, please, it's turning yourself now. And if it was supposed to be happy, they'd probably put like maybe an exclamation point because they have where they want them straight period.
Exactly. So that end punctuation can give you a hint as well. Allison. It's exclamatory because it's ending with an exclamation point. Yep, exactly. Yep. All right. How do we feel about 1 through 4? Our types of sentences. Okay, awesome. You guys, as we're going, I want you to be marking off the ones you might want more practice with. So if we do get to a section or a number and you're like, whoa, I did not do that correctly, I want you to pick a mark, whether it's a check or you're circling it or starring it or something. I want you to be keeping track of what you could use some more practice with before our test tomorrow, or what you would like to review, I should say. Then our next section, we were supposed to first add commas to separate the words in a series in each sentence. Then write whether the words are nouns, verbs, or adjectives. So 2 parts here. Remember how I told you need to read the directions carefully on your review sheet? That's because sometimes you have 2 things to do. So for number 5, Allie bought a pencil, comma, a notebook, comma, and a calculator. So 3 things are being listed, so we need commas. And then it's listing a pencil, notebook, and calculator. Those are things, so it is listing nouns. Number 6, the athletes ran, comma, biked, comma, and swam around the course. Ran, biked, and swam, those are things we do. They are verbs. Frankie, your book should be put away right now. Philip, your book should be put away right now. Number 7, stacking firewood was hard, comma, sweaty, comma, and tiring work. Hard, sweaty, and tiring, those are all adjectives. They describe something. So, how did we feel about placing the commas in 5, 6, and 7? How do we feel about that, 1 through 5, placing the commas? Okay. How did we feel about determining if they were nouns, verbs, and adjectives for 5 through 7? Okay. Okay, go put your hands down. So just remember, when 3 or more things are being listed, you need a comma between each thing. So since there are 3 things, you only need 2 commas. If we were listing 4 things, you would need 3 commas to be between them. Okay. So then, for numbers 8 through 10, we were supposed to first add commas where needed in the sentences, then circle the conjunction. Remember that conjunction, that is a word we use to connect 2 phrases that could otherwise be 2 separate sentences. So for number 8, Casey lifted the box and she strained her back. So Casey lifted the box, that could be one sentence. She strained her back could be another one. And is our conjunction. That's our word that's joining these 2 together. And you always have a comma before the conjunction. So you guys, on the test, it might be more helpful, even if it says to add commas first, it might be more helpful to circle the conjunction first so you know where it is, then put a comma in front of it. So number 9, puppies are so cute, but they require a lot of care. Puppies are so cute could be a sentence. They require a lot of care could be another one. So but is that conjunction, that joining word, and we need a comma before our conjunction. So our comma should be after cute. Number 10, you can either watch the movie or you can go to the park, or is being used to combine. So that is our conjunction. We're circling it and we're putting a comma before. How did we feel about circling the conjunction? How do we feel about that? Circling the conjunction. Okay. How do we feel about putting the comma before the conjunction? Okay. Okay. So again, if there's anything we're noticing I didn't do so well on that, we are marking that on a review sheet. Then for numbers 12 through 16, we were writing words as a contraction. So remember, contraction is when we combine two words using an apostrophe. So number 11, I am, would be a capital I apostrophe M. 12, does not is the same as doesn't, with an apostrophe where the O usually is. 13, she has, that is the same as she's. So she apostrophe S. Number 14, they are, that's the same as their. So you would write they apostrophe RE. 15, we have, that's the same as we've. So we apostrophe VE. And then 16, we are, that's the same as we're. So we apostrophe RE. How do we feel about contractions? How do we feel about contractions, writing them as contractions? Awesome. Hands down. Okay, next. We were kind of doing something similar, except we were given a sentence and we were asked to put the apostrophe where it was needed. So you guys, when you get sentences like this, basically you're looking to see, okay, what is weird in this sentence? Because for number 17, Taylor's report is about pythons. Without that apostrophe between the R and the S in Taylor's, it looks kind of weird because we're used to seeing an apostrophe for ownership. Taylor, it's Taylor's report, so we need an apostrophe S for Taylor's. Number 18, same thing. She's excited because she was chosen to be in the play. She's without an apostrophe looks weird to us because we are so used to seeing it with an apostrophe. So it should be she with an apostrophe between the E and the S. And number 19, this one may have tripped you up if you looked at it real quick, because you may have just said W-E-R-E and thought were. Okay, that's a word. But actually, if we read that sentence, if we said once we're done, we can enjoy riding the horses again, that doesn't make sense. But once we're done, we can enjoy riding the horses again. That does make sense. And if you guys remember, I did that in our review game yesterday. There was a were that needed to be a we're, and some people automatically pick something else because were itself is a word. So make sure you are carefully reading on your review sheet in your test to make sure it's not supposed to be we're with an apostrophe. Are there questions on 17 through 19? How do we feel on 17 through 19, placing those apostrophes? How do we feel? How do we feel? Okay. All right. Hands down. So the last part on the first side, we needed to circle all of the letters that needed to be capitalized. So for number 20, there you go. Oh. There. That's a little better. So for number 20, circle the letters that should be capitalized. So the U for uncle. Now, uncle on its own, is that usually capitalized? No, but since it's starting the sentence, it needs to be. The C in Charlie's, because that is a name, and the J in January, because that is a month. Now, birthday. Is that a holiday we capitalize? No. So the B in birthday would stay lowercase. If it was something like Christmas or Easter, then yes, we would capitalize it. Halloween, yeah. 21. We would capitalize the H in his because it's starting off the sentence. The D in doctor should be capitalized because it is a title. The J in Jessup because that is the last name. And the T in Tuesday. Then for number 22, the M in my because that's starting off our sentence. The T in Tucson because that is a city. And the A in Arizona because that is a state. Do we capitalize grandfather? No, we do not. Just like how you wouldn't, technically you wouldn't capitalize like mom or dad in a sentence either unless you're starting off the sentence with it. Okay. How do we feel about 20 through 22? Capitalizing. How do we feel? How do we feel? Waiting for some hands for some people. Awesome. Jackal, how'd you feel? Okay, take your mask down, please. I'm not going to tell you again. Okay, thank you. All right, flip to the back. All right, so for these, we also practice underlining to properly write titles. So when we do that, we are looking for the title of a book, the title of the play, or the title of a painting. So for number 23, The War of the Worlds, it says is a movie and a book, so we know that is the title we're looking for. We should have underlined The War of the Worlds. For 24, my family saw The Sound of Music as a play on Broadway. The Sound of Music is the play, so that is underlined. And number 25, The Flower Carrier by Diego Rivera is one of my favorite paintings. So The Flower Carrier is the title of a painting, so that should be underlined. You guys, what is something that gave away the title before it was underlined? What kind of gave it away? What did we notice? Max? Yeah, they are titles of works, so they're usually capitalized. So notice how The War of the Worlds, that's capitalized. The Sound of Music, capitalized. The Flower Carrier, capitalized. If you had trouble figuring out what the titles were, look for the capital letters. Now, 24, Broadway is also capitalized, right? So that doesn't mean necessarily that every word that's capitalized is a part of the title, but it's like a group together. Yep, a group of words together that are capitalized. That would be your title. Yes, Max. Yeah, that is kind of tells you, okay, this thing is a movie and a book. Nice, nice. Yeah, it is a good book. It's a good movie. So you might notice like 23 you have is afterwards, 24 you have as, 25 you have by. Those can tell you, okay, the thing right before these words, that's probably what I'm looking for. Yes, Will? You sure? Okay. Questions on 23 through 25? All right. Then we have abbreviations. So our abbreviations, let me move that over. There we go. So 26, September, capital S, lowercase EPT, period. 27, governor, capital G, lowercase OV, period. 28, boulevard, that I know that's a tricky one for some people. That's why we've been practicing it. Capital B, lowercase LVD, period. And then 29, a minute, like telling time, lowercase MIN, period. You'll find that certain units of measurement aren't. Most other abbreviations always are capitalized, but like pound isn't capitalized, minute isn't, hour isn't. Yes, Max? Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly. So you can kind of think of them as titles. Yep. No, you probably get like half a point off. So make sure everything that I have capitalized, you have capitalized. Make sure you have a period where I have a period. Because on your test, because we are practicing the periods and the capitalizing, I would have to take off partial points if you were to miss those. All right, 2 more sections. First, write yes or no to tell if each direct quotation is correct. Oh, sorry, I moved that up too much. Okay, so number 30, Orlando exclaimed, "Yay, summer vacation is finally here." No, it's not correct, because are there any quotation marks in number 30? No, you don't know exactly what he's saying. So no, that is not correct. Number 31, quotation. So quotation mark, anyone who works, you okay? Okay. Quotation mark, anyone who works with the public should have a flu shot, said Matt, period, quotation mark. Now, does 31 have quotation marks? Yeah. Are the quotation marks in the correct spots? No. Now, the first set, that's correct, right? We should start with quotation marks? So, but he didn't. Our quotation marks should only go around what is being said. They did not actually say said Matt. Matt is the one speaking, so those quotation marks at the end should be coming after flu shot. So no, that is not correct. Exactly. Then number 32, Mr. Davis explained, comma, quotation mark. Learning first aid is important for everyone, period, quotation mark. That is correct, because Mr. Davis is not saying Mr. Davis explained. He is saying learning first aid is important for everyone, and we have our quotation marks around what he is saying. So yes, that is correct. Then we have the last part. So you were supposed to rewrite the following, adding capital letter and punctuation where needed, and you were supposed to use abbreviations where possible. So, number 33, 9222 South Sheridan Avenue. You should have written 922. Capitalize the S in South, capitalize the S in Sheraton, then abbreviated Avenue as capital A, lowercase ve with a period. Then for 34, Dear Dr. Joseph. Now, you guys, would you assume that this is the beginning of a letter? Yes. So, along with capitalizing the D in dear, abbreviating doctor as uppercase or capital D, lowercase r with a period, capitalizing the J in Joseph, I hope you're paying attention. You would also need a comma after Joseph, because you're starting the letter this way. Dear Dr. Joseph, you need a comma because that is the beginning of a letter. Exactly. If you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. How many of you found at least one thing you could probably look at a little bit better tonight before your test? How many of you found at least one thing? Where are some places you can look to look over those different things? Who can tell me one place? One place. Let's see. Addie? In your grammar workbook, that's one place. You can look back at EPB pages that we've already completed. And where's another place? Jack P? Your language arts notebook. We took notes on all of this. So your notes in your language arts notebook and your completed pages in your EPB. So tonight, what else should you probably be bringing home to study for your test? Okay, I see language arts notebook. What else, Layla? Your review sheet and your what, Allison? Your EPB. I mean, yes, well, you should always have a pencil, but your LA notebook, review sheet, and EPB should be going home. Max. My thing is, if, let's say you bring home your review sheet so that you know what you need more practice with and your EPB, you could still be looking through your EPB and thinking, oh my gosh, what am I even doing? Whereas your notes could give you a better explanation, but your EPB has more examples. So that's why I would recommend bringing home all 3, especially since your test is tomorrow and it's not like you have 2 days. So you could bring home 2 tonight and then maybe think, the next night I'm going to bring home this as well. You don't have that amount of time. So I would say bring home all 3 tonight. Okay? Good question. Okay, we are done correcting.